Let's give you an early look at the waiver wire here. Some players you could be looking at to be adding to your fantasy teams heading into week number 5. As Heath alluded to, quarterback play has been all over the place, and a couple of these guys on this list have done some nice things, specifically Gino Smith. So Adam's not buying it. Heath, are you buying it that Gino Smith could be maybe a starting fantasy quarterback for the rest of the season?
I think he could have weeks as a starting fantasy quarterback. I just don't think that this week specifically, traveling to New Orleans, second game on the road, I don't like the Seahawks offense at all this week.
I will see how things go. Maybe one more week, and it's like, why haven't we been starting Gino Smith for the majority of the season? And you could pick up a couple of these guys, maybe Teddy Bridgewater in 2 quarterback leagues, maybe Bailey Zappi as well, who's available in 100% of leagues on CBSSports.com. Adam, when we look at the running backs, I know you weren't part of the show at the beginning when we talked about the injuries that we're looking at here, but Mike Boone may end up being the guy for the Denver Broncos. Latavius Murray might be the guy for the Saints if there is no Alvin Kamara once again. Which of these running backs interest you the most?
I'd say Mike Boone. I think he's going to have some rest of season value at the very worst, maybe about 10 touches per game. If you're in a deeper league, that works. But then if there's an injury to Melvin Gordon, or if Melvin Gordon fumbles again, Mike Boone could have a big role. I don't really buy Latavius Murray. I think Mark Ingram is definitely going to be their starting running back. Murray did a lot of work when Ingram went out in that game. Rashad White, you have to add. He's getting more involved, but he's still a handcuff. So I would say Mike Boone would be the guy that I would prioritize the most here.
And we'll find out if Cordarrelle Patterson maybe suffered an injury, but Tyler Algier played a lot in the second half of that game, and Isaiah Pacheco looked great against the Bucs. So we'll see if he starts to take on a little bit more of a role as well. Certainly a handcuff for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Let's talk about the receivers, a little bit bigger list because there are a lot more options at that position. Heath, George Pickens got involved with Kenny Pickett. He could be somebody that might end up being a must-start guy rest of the way. Corey Davis, I know you still have hope for Garrett Wilson, but Davis and Zach Wilson, every time they're on the field, they seem to connect. And Josh Reynolds did some nice things stepping in for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Assuming, let's say, there's some injury still factored in, which receiver do you like the best?
I mean, if all the guys who are injured were still injured, I would go with Josh Reynolds as the #1 wide receiver for the Lions, and I think you'd expect him to be a top 24 guy this week. If he comes back, though, I would probably lean towards Corey Davis right now.
The one thing, though, to keep in mind with Josh Reynolds, and I agree with you, is he had 10 targets the game before while Amon-Ra St. Brown still played in that game. That was in week 3. So with the way Jared Goff is playing right now, maybe Josh Reynolds has some staying power, even with Amon-Ra St. Brown back on the field. Adam, we look at the tight ends. Robert Tonyan caught a touchdown. Taysom Hill might be a cheat code because of Andy Dalton starting for Jameis Winston. If that continues, Will Dissly scored now in back-to-back games. And Wally Cox had a great game, even in the loss for the Colts. Which tight end do you like the best on this list?
I would say Robert Tonyan. I think he's got the best touchdown potential, and I say that even with Will Dissly scoring 3 touchdowns this year. But if the Packers want to throw on the Giants, they will. If they want to run on the Giants, they will. But I think Tunyan's got an opportunity to be their red zone guy, their green zone guy, and I guess I'll take him. But I'm not starting any of these guys over Kyle Pitts.